kick it off.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Khan and this is my fellow friend.
Bakhtiar.
Bakhtiar.
Assalamu alaikum to everybody watching. First of all, we'd like you to comment, like, subscribe, and share because it's important that we get some kind of traction. And more so, we'd like some feedback from you as well. And if there's any topic of conversation that you'd like us to cover, let's do it.
By the way, we're getting some good feedback on the last two kind of podcasts. So you know what, things are kind of moving in the right direction. But like I said, yeah, this is we're new to it, and if if BBC is looking to hire some contenders for the Pashtun channel,
Get in touch.
We know where we are. Well, you know where we are. Anyway, so a follow up on our second podcast was the struggles that the 1970s, the second generation were facing in the 70s and 80s.
I'd say that was a third generation.
Third generation,
yes.
Yeah, kind of third generation. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the third generation.
Yeah.
The first generation, if they were here from 60 to probably, they were probably. I'll give them that 5-year window, basically from 60 to about 65. That was the older lot which were here. Then subsequent to that, basically, it was this 65 to about the 70s. That generation were pretty much exclusive Pakistanis with extended families.
Here. The struggles were enormous, man. First of all, dedication to a friend of mine, a cousin of mine who passed away, Spuddy, God bless your soul, right? You're gone too soon, mate. I told you, remember Spuddy?
Yes,
I told you.
What is my son for the little
I told you, stop eating burger meals. Yeah. So I'm basically on Allenbrook Road, yeah? Spuddy's in a micro, with his mates, yeah? And he just had a heart operation. This is going back. This is the struggles that we're facing. Yeah. So he goes, "Oh, because I'm coming back from uni, right?" I said, "I'm okay." I said, "How you doing?" He goes, "I had an op." I said, "Look, Spud, lay off the masala fish." He goes, "I'm gonna get a dollar burger." What do you think? You're gonna keel over and die. Yeah. Needless to say, months later, he had to have an emergency operation because he had a blocked artery. And he passed away on the operating table. But he, sometimes everything's written, yeah, and we believe in that. But I do believe that he went too soon.
Yeah, that's what he was.
He went too soon,
Good old Spuddy. He was, he came across as unassuming, but you know what? You'd actually think that he was. I don't want to badmouth him because I'm not badmouthing him, and I'm speaking as a friend because at certain times there's relationships which exist. So as a friend, trying to do this in a way whereby he's a friend, he was a close friend, he was somebody that I had a lot of time for, and he had a lot of time for me. He was the kind of person which you could, if there was a road which led to America and you could walk it, as long as you could stop along the way and he could rest, basically, he'd walk you to America. But he'd talk all the way there, and he was such a knowledgeable bloke, yet not educated. He was seriously well read. He discussed pretty much anything with you.
He's it'll be missed. And the reason why I brought that up because we're talking about 70s and 80s, and my 70s and 80s, he was part of that. Fundamentally, he was part of that because I was young, small, and then and he was older than me.
But what's just detracting from that for 1 second, basically, and relating this back to the Pashtun community itself. What was the default position of families in the 70s and 80s, marriage in the 70s and 80s,
and you like this one,
and the issue that basically the correlation between the UK and Pakistan, and this is going to
blow your mind.
This is going to be nuclear.
I'm going to press the button.
We are at DEFCON 1.
The most important fact, the most important element in my family or the Pashtun generation was their relationship with Pakistan and the family there, right? They had no idea of establishing kind of roots in the country. All they did was work hard and send money to Pakistan, build their houses, buy land, and that went on for far too long. You know what I mean? And they didn't really at the beginning. They didn't really invest in their kids as much as they did later on in the 80s.
Okay, let's kind of go a slight angle. Basically, I'm going to detour and then we'll come back to basically because I want this podcast to actually relate to the struggles of those which are in the UK. We know what's happened in Pakistan. We know they've got their own struggles, they've got their own issues, and they'll give you a side on it. But let's move this back towards what's happening in the UK and the 70s and 80s. The bread earner, it's not saying that every family had somebody which was supporting family back in Pakistan, because there was a lot of poverty there. And then it came to marriages, but that's further along in this actual conversation.
Yeah.
We'll touch on that. Our forefathers, which are there basically, which were the second generation, which were still working, as myself and yourself, we were growing up. So when you were a teenager, and I would have been probably 10, 11 at the time, and those which had extended families, the income that your father earned basically and what my father earned, how was that money being used?
It wasn't used to buy property in the UK. It was used to build up their banks in Pakistan. I know that's what my dad did. A lot of the money my dad earned, he banked it in Pakistan.
Yes, but ultimately banked it in Pakistan. There was also so-called extended family members which needed help from.
Yeah, I mean, his own mom needed help, his brothers needed help, so that struggles were there for him.
So that's something which I wanted to touch on. And let's make this generic, because ultimately what you don't want to create is conflict, because there'll be certain people which will be watching this, and we want to make this crystal clear to everybody watching this. This is a generic conversation. It is not pointed at Dr. Khan's family or my family,
can't be.
because if somebody wants to take offence at it, take as much offence as you want. It's not pointed at you, and if you feel like the shoe fits, feel free to wear it. I have zero tolerance towards that. This is a generic conversation, because I have to get that in there, because certain community members are very good at throwing mud at people. So let's not have the mud thrown at us. But the stereotype, what used to exist at that time, was the father or the male member, which was in the UK, would earn money. He would ultimately go and use that to support his brothers, his sisters, uncles, aunts, which were in Pakistan, which were not in as fortunate financial position as they were. That came from a lot of love and respect that they had for their family structure and the way that family structure used to work. Ultimately, the money that you used to earn when you were in the UK at that age, you would send to your dad, who would be in Pakistan. If he was living in the same house as his brothers, that money was used to support the dad's brothers' families, however many kids that they were, and everybody ate out of that pot.
Yeah, 100%.
As they ate out of that pot, the poor uncle or dad, which was in England, would pretty much be flogging himself to death to support the extended family members.
It was hard.
That was expected.
It was hard.
It was very hard. But
at what expense?
That's the next key thing. The expense was me and the likes of my dear cousin here, Mr. Khan.
We were expendable.
Oh, we were expendable. So you had your cousin in Pakistan who's the same age as you. He'd wake up at 10, 11 o'clock, brush his hair nice and easily, perfectly ironed clothes, the latest trainers, and he's deciding what am I going to do to DOS today? Or how am I going to spend the money that my...
We had pass-me-downs. You remember that? Pass-me-downs?
Yeah. Pass-me-downs, basically. You were fortunate. It's how you survived. What were you given as resources compared to what they had?
It was different. It was a different mindset, you know.
Yeah, the mindset was your dad earned it, your cousins in Pakistan spent it and enjoyed it, and you, which are stuck in England, basically, were looking at the sky and thinking anything for the poor, basically.
You know, that went on for far too long. But there's no inescapable truth that they could break away from. They were stuck in that kind of situation. Yeah. It broke away eventually.
Hold on. It broke. This goes.
This goes deep.
This goes deeper than that. And then
I want to talk about marriage.
Oh, we'll come to that. That will do a separate one, basically. Yeah. So then you've supported. So the poor individual. I was going to say something which would be derogatory. So you can feel how passionate I'm about it.
Say it.
So the poor individual, which was in the UK, so our forefathers, which were working, they would support the extended family. The granddad and grandma, which were in Pakistan, would say, "Yes, your brother is over here. No problem. We need to support him and his kids." So if there's 1, 2, 3 brothers, however many they were, which were in underneath that structure. So poor dad over here would be working away day and night. Granddad would be using the money, either acquiring assets, building the house,
Yep.
spending that time. Comes down to succession. Granddad passes away. All of a sudden, dad goes back to Pakistan. His brothers are there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we've got a family house.
Kick you out.
Thank you. How many people can relate to stories basically that their dads and granddads have told them, whereby they've worked 20, 30 years to keep the family going, and when they ask for what their share of what has been created, it was, first thing was, who told you to go and work?
They were like, you're in the UK, you got money, you got property. Why you need property in Pakistan?
Yes.
And so many a time, uncles, cousins, brothers in Pakistan have shafted their own family members out over land disputes, over housing, share. Even till this day, there's animosity, and it's just
the animosity which is created basically. So the person which was outside of Pakistan, who's working all the hours God sends, saving and skimping, putting his family through hardship in the UK for the betterment of his extended family, saying that we are a family and this is the extended goal. Yet when it came down to division, it was the other brothers in Pakistan saying, well, it's traditional for us basically that no assets belong to us, they all belong to our father. So therefore, everything is divided equally. And their version of equal basically is 9/10 theirs and 1/10 yours. Yeah, and you should be grateful for the 1/10 that we're giving you.
And you built the house.
Yes.
But you know what? Even amongst the Pakistani community, Pashtun community, I've heard many a story about these type of things, yeah? And you can't do nothing about it. Don't be one of those, because you know what? This is how it works. If you say, oh yeah, I want my land back, or I want my property back, yeah, you would have to pay a policeman, right, to kind of resolve the situation. Now the police guy is just eating money off you. He doesn't care about you. You're in the UK, and I know many guys, they've kind of used the police system to put pressure on their uncle and brothers to get them turfed out of their property. The police don't give a crap. All you've done is give him some money to buy food for himself.
Pay as you go.
Pay as you go.
Top up your airtime and do it regularly, and you can use communications.
Pay as you go. You know what I mean? So, and that's what. And I think I want to divert slightly from that back there. And that's why many people have a rash towards going to Pakistan and living there or building properties there, because they don't have that love for Pakistan anymore. That love has kind of subsided because of family disputes or loss of language, or there's nothing really there for them to do. As we proceed, I don't think people will be going to Pakistan anymore.
Hold on. But the reason is so-called perceived injustices which go on. So if there's an injustice which goes on, is that a reason to allow it to go on, or are you supposed to resist it?
You shouldn't allow it to go on. You should resist it. Be strong, man. Listen, Pakistan is your identity. You, me, we're British. We're British Pakistanis, right? But I go further than that. I said to one of my TikToks here. I said, I don't see myself British or Pakistani. I'm an internationalist, and I've said that so many times. Everyone I test. I'm an internationalist, and yes, I have a love for this country, and I have a love for Pakistan. So I don't think you should cut your ties from Pakistan, because for me personally, my parents are buried in Pakistan. I'll be buried in Pakistan. Okay, I was brought up in this country.
Yeah.
Right.
The struggles.
I love this country.
Yeah.
Don't you love this country?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Don't you love the values of this country?
Yes.
The freedom, the democracy, the rule of law, The fact that you can go from A to B without being hassled.
Democracy.
You know?
What did Gandhi say about democracy?
Hypocrisy. Was that Malcolm X?
That's probably Malcolm X.
Yeah.
When somebody asked Gandhi, what do you think of democracy? You know what his response was? It's a very good idea.
It's a very good, if it works.
It's a very good idea.
You know, but like, be proud.
Yeah.
Be proud. Be British. Nothing wrong with it, right? There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world today, okay? But kind of get back to your first principles. Think about who you are. Think about how you identify yourself, okay? Going back to the original gambit about Pakistan, the second generation, they had to have those ties.
Yeah, but they had to have the ties. But at what? You see the positive elements of it, and you see who benefited from it.
They benefited from it. Yeah. That was just the way it was. You know.
So what was the collateral damage after that? Who was the collateral damage after that?
The family here. Family here. But you know what? But that changed over time, yeah. Because then we started to grow up, yeah.
Yeah.
We started to go to school. We started to do well at school. We became taxi drivers. We became academics. We've got too many lawyers. Now, one thing I want to say about this, please, for the love of God, do not study law. We've got too many lawyers. How about some accountants? Actually, don't do accountancy.
Well, saying that, I'm a lawyer, and I threw my qualification away because I refused to sell my soul to the devil.
Yeah. Too many lawyers, too many doctors. How about
astronauts?
How about Formula 1 drivers? Anything but laws, please. Oh yeah, that's like a joke. That's tongue in cheek, but don't get it twisted.
If anything which is academic, which is positive, make sure you do it for.
But you know, I'm kind of finishing off. But you know, yeah, a lot of struggles happened. You know, a lot of the generation went to Pakistan to get married. The marriage was out of convenience.
No, that's a topic for our next.
Yeah, we're going to flip marriage out of convenience, and there were problems within that. But we're going to talk about that in our next podcast.
The one that I'm more concerned about, basically, is coming back to the effects of as those which were basically born between roughly 73 to about 86, 87, that kind of 10-12 year gap, basically, of that generation of British Pashtoons and the struggles that they went through, the adaptation, the racism, the fights, the integration elements, the pushbacks, basically.
The skinheads. Let's not talk about skinheads.
If you weren't, well, let's go packy ding dong, the lights are flashing, it's time to go packy.
The Panthers. The Zulus. I'm having all these trauma, man. What happened back in the days?
We're having inspirational moments and flashbacks.
Bloody hell. Anyway, we're gonna. I love these podcasts, and long may they continue. So catch up with our next podcast. We'll continue on the marriage in the in this early 80s and how that kind of affected family structure. And then how that changed in the 90s and then in the noughties.
Yes. We hope you got some entertainment from us and our discussions, and please provide us some feedback going forward. And if there's any other topic that you'd like us to discuss, please feel free to do so. We look forward to hearing and reading your views. And it's goodbye from him, and it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye.